Hello there, it's the 27th of April. I brought you outside today because I've got a long poem to do and you don't want to look at my face for the duration. This is the Shepherd's Calendar by John Clare, January. It's dark in places, so not necessarily by my usual light-hearted poetry label as such. This is for my old collie Skye, who I had to put down last week, and therefore it's to some extent appropriate. If anybody knows any really good working sheepdog poems, then please let me know. I can't find one, and I've looked through many books and I've looked on the internet as well. This one is from the internet, so The Shepherd's Calendar by John Clare. Withering and keen the winter comes, while comfort flies to close-shut rooms, and sees the snow in feathers pass, winnowing by the window glass, whilst unfelt tempests howl and beat above his head in chimney seat. Now musing o'er the changing scene, farmers behind the tavern screen collect with elbow idly pressed, on hob reclines the corner guest, reading the news to mark again the bankrupt's list or the price of grain, of old Moore's annual prophecies of flooded fields and clouded skies, whose almanacs thumbed pages swarm with frost and snow and many a storm, and wisdom gossiped from the stars of politics and bloody wars. He shakes his head and still proceeds, nor doubts the truth of what he reads. All wonders are with faith supplied, Bible at once or weather guide. Puffing the while his red-tipped pipe, he dreams o'er troubles nearly ripe, yet not quite lost in prophet's way. He'll turn to next year's harvest day, and winter's leisure to regale, hope better times, and sip his ale. The schoolboy still with dithering joys in pastime leisure hours employs, and be the weather as it may, is never at a loss for play, making rude forms of various names, snowmen, or aught his fancy frames, till numbed and shivering he resorts to brisker games and warmer sports, kicking with many a flying bound the football o'er the frozen ground, or seeking bright glib ice to play and slide the wintry hours away, as quick and smooth as shadows run when clouds in autumn pass the sun. Some hurrying rambles eager take to skate upon the meadow lake, scaring the snipe from her retreat from shelving banks in frozen seat, or running brook where icy spars, which the pale sunlight specks with stars, shoot crizzling o'er the restless tide to many a likeness petrified. The moorhen, too, with fear oppressed, starts from her reedy sheltered rest, as skating by with curving springs and arms outspread like herons' wings, they race away for pleasure's sake with hunter's speed along the lake. Blackening through the evening sky, in clouds the starlings daily fly to Whittlesea's reed-wooded mere and osier holts by rivers near, whilst many a mangled swarthy crowd, rook, crow, and jackdaw, noising loud, fly to and fro to dreary fen, dull winter's weary flight again. They flop on heavy wings away as soon as morning wakens grey, and when the sun sets round and red, return to naked woods to bed. The sun is creeping out of sight behind the woods, whilst running night hastens to shut the day's dull eye and grizzle o'er the chilly sky. Now maidens, fresh as summer roses, journeying from distant closes, haste home with yokes and swinging pail. To the thresher, too, sets by his flail, and leaves the mice at peace again to fill their holes with stolen grain, whilst owlets, glad his toils are o'er, swoop by him as he shuts the door. Bearing his hook beneath his arm, the shepherd seeks the cottage warm, and weary in the cold to roam, scenting the track that leads him home. His dog goes swifter o'er the mead, barking to urge his master's speed, then turns and looks him in the face, and trots before with mending pace, till out of whistle from the swain he sits him down and barks again. anxious to greet the open door and meet the cottage fire once more. The shutter closed, the lamp alight, the faggot chopped and blazing bright, the shepherd now, from labour free, dances his children on his knee, while underneath his master's seat the tired dog lies in some slumbers sweet, starting and whimpering in his sleep, chasing still the straying sheep. The cats rolled round in vacant chair, or leaping children's knee to lair, or purring on the warmer hearth, sweet chorus to the cricket's mirth. The red cap hanging overhead, in cage of wire is perched abed, slumbering in his painted feathers, unconscious of the outdoor weathers. Even things without the cottage walls meet comfort as the evening falls, as happy in the winter's dearth as those around the blazing hearth. The ass, frost frozen from the moor, where storms through naked bushes roar, and not a leaf or sprig of green on ground or quaking bush is seen, save grey-veined ivy's hardy pride round old trees by the common side. Littered with straw, now dozes warm beneath his shed from snow and storm. The swine are fed, and in the sty, and fowls snug perched in hovel high, with head in feathers, safe asleep, where foxes cannot hope to creep. And geese are gabbling in their dreams of littered corn and thawing streams. The sparrow too, a daily guest, as is in the cottage eaves at rest. And robin small and smaller wren are in their warm holes safe again, from falling snows that winnow by the hovels where they nightly lie. An ague wind that shakes the tree where other birds are forced to be. The housewife, busy night and day, clears the supper things away. The jumping cat starts from her seat and stretching up on weary feet. The dog wakes at the welcome tones that call him up to clear the bones. On corner walls, a glittering row, hang fire irons, less for use than show. With horseshoe brightened as a spell, witchcraft's evil powers to quell, a warning pan, reflecting light, the crackling blazes, flickering light, that hangs the corner wall to grace, nor oft is taken from its place. There in its mirror, bright as gold, the children peep, and straight behold, their laughing faces while they pass, gleam on the lid as plain as glass. Supper removed, the mother sits, and tells her tales by starts and fits. Not willing to lose time or toil, she knits or sews and talks the while, something that may be warnings found to the young listeners gaping round, of boys who in her early day strolled to the meadow lake to play, where willows o'er the bank inclined sheltered the water from the wind, and left it scarcely crizzled o'er when one sank in to rise no more. And how upon the market night, when not a star bestowed its light, a farmer's shepherd o'er his glass forgot that he had woods to pass, and having sold his master's sheep was overtaken by darkness deep. How coming with his startled horse to where two roads a hollow cross, where lone guide when a stranger strays, a white post points for different ways. Beside the woodride's lonely gate, a murdering robber lay in wait. The frightened horse with broken rein stood at the stable door again, but none came to fill his rack or take the saddle from his back. The saddle, it was all he bore, the man was seen alive no more. In her young days beside the wood, the gibbet in its terror stood, though now decayed 'tis not forgot, but dreaded as a haunted spot. She from her memory oft repeats witches' dread powers and fairy feats, how one has oft been known to prance in cow-cribs like a coach to France, and ride on sheep-trays from the fold, a racehorse speed to Burton Hold, to join the midnight mystery's rout, where witches meet the ewes about, and how when met with unawares they turn at once to cats or hares, and race along the hellish flight, now here, now there, now out of sight, and how the other tiny things will leave their moonlit meadowed rings, and unperceived through keyholes creep when all around have sunk to sleep. To feast on what the cotter's leaves, mice are not reckoned greater thieves. They take away as well as eat, and still the housewife's eye they cheat. In spite of all the folks that swarm in cottage small and larger form, they through each keyhole pop and pop like wasps into a grocer's shop, with all the things that they can win from chance to put their plunder in, as shells of walnuts split in two by crows who with kernels flew, or acorn cups by stock doves plucked, or eggshells by a cuckoo sucked. They, with broad leaves of the sycamore, they clothe their stolen dainties o'er, and when in cellar they regale, bring hazelnuts to hold their ale, with bungholes bored by squirrels well, to get the kernel from the shell, or maggots a way out to win, when all is gone that grew within. And be the keyholes e'er so high, rush poles a ladder's help supply, where soft the climber's fearless tread on spindles made of spider's thread, and foul or fair or dark the night, their wildfire lamps are burning bright, for which full many a daring crime is acted in the summer time, when glowworm found in lanes remote is murdered for its shining coat, and put in flowers that nature weaves with hollow shapes and silken flowers. Such as the Canterbury bell, serving for the lamp or lantern well, or following with unwearied watch the flight of one they cannot match, as silence silvereth upon sleep, or thieves by dozing watchdogs creep, they steal from jack-o'-lanterns' tails a light whose guidance never fails, to aid them in the darkest night, and guide their plundering steps aright, rattling away in printless tracks. Some housed on beetles' glossy backs go whisking on, and others high, as fast as loaded moths can fly. Some urge the morning cock to shun the hardest gallop mice can run, in chariots lolling at their ease, made of whate'er their fancies please. Things that in childhood's memory dwell, scooped crowpot, stone, or cockle shell, with wheels at hand or mallow seeds, where childish sport was stringing beads. And thus equipped they softly pass, like shadows on the summer grass, and glide away in troops together, just as the spring wind drives a feather. As light as happy dreams they creep, nor break the feeblest link of sleep. A midge in their road abed feels not the wheels run o'er his head, but sleeps till sunrise calls him up, unconscious of the passing troop. Thus dame the winter night regales with wonders never ceasing tales, while in a corner ill at ease, or crushing 'tween their father's knees, the children silent all the while, and e'en repressed the laugh or smile, quake with the ague chills of fear, and tremble though they love to hear, starting while they the tales recall at their own shadows on the wall, till the old clock that strikes unseen behind the picture pasted screen, where Eve and Adam still agree to rob life's fatal apple tree, counts over bedtime's hour of rest, and birds each bee sleep's fearful guest. She then her half-told tales will leave, to finish on the morrow's eve. The children steal away to bed, and up the ladder softly tread, scarce daring, from all their fearful joys, to look behind or make a noise, nor speak a word, but still as sleep they secret to their pillows creep, and whisper in terror's way the prayers they dare no louder say, then hide their heads behind the clothes, and try in vain to seek repose. while yet to fancy's sleepless eye witches on sheep trays gallop by, and fairies like a rising spark swarm twittering round them in the dark, till sleep creeps nigh to ease their cares and drops upon them unawares. O spirit of the days gone by, sweet childhood's fearful ecstasy, the witching spells of winter nights, where are they fled with their delights, when listening on the corner seat the winter evening's length to cheat, I heard my mother's memory tell tales superstition loves so well. Things said or sung 1,000 times in simple prose or simpler rhymes. Ah, where is page of poesy so sweet as this was wont to be, the magic wonders that deceived when fictions were as truths believed, the fairy feats that once prevailed, told to delight and never failed. Where are they now, their fears and sights and tears, and from fonts of happy eyes? I read in books but find them not, for poesy hath its youth forgot. I hear them told to children still, but fear numbs not my spirit's chill. I still see faces pale with dread, while mine could laugh at what is said. See tears imagined woes supply, while mine with real cares are dry. Where are they gone, their joys and fears, the links, the life of other years? I thought they twined around my heart, so close that we could never part. But reason, like a winter's day, nipped childhood's vision all away, nor left behind one withering flower to cherish in a lonely hour. Memory may yet the themes repeat, but childhood's heart hath ceased to beat at tales which Rosson's sterner love turns like weak gossips from her door. The magic fountain where the head rose up just as the startled maid was stooping from the weekly brink to dip her pitcher in to drink. That did its half-hid mystery tell, to smooth its hair and use its well, which doing as it bade her do, turned to a king and lover too. The tale of Cinderella told the winter through, and never old. The pumpkin that at her approach was turned into a golden coach, that rates the rats that fairies magic know, and instantly to horses grew. The coachman ready at her call to drive to the prince's ball, with fur-changed jackets silver lined, and tails hung neath their hats behind. The golden glove with fingers small she lost while dancing in the hall, that was on every finger tried, and fitted hers, and none beside. When Cinderella, as soon as seen, was wooed and won and made a queen, the boy that did the giant slay, and gave his mother's cow away, for magic mask that day or night, when on would keep him out of sight, the running bean, not as such as weaves round poles the height of cottage eaves, but magic ones that travelled high, some steeple's journey up the sky, and reached a giant's dwelling there, a cloud-built castle in the air, where venturing up the fearful height that served him climbing half the night, he searched the giant's coffers o'er, and never wanted riches more. Like a lion scenting food, the giant roared in hungry mood, a storm of threats that might suffice to freeze the hottest blood to ice. I hear it now, nor dream of woes, the storm is settled to repose. Those fears are dead, what will not die, in fading life's mortality. Those truths have fled and left behind a real world and doubting mind. There we go. I hope you enjoyed it and managed to listen to all of it. John Clare's Shepherd's Calendar, January. Bye for now.